We're rolling.
Sorry, I'm like waiting for you to say something. Hello and welcome to episode 264 of the Thinking LSAT podcast in Vienna, Virginia. This is Ben Olson. With me is Nathan Fox in State Line, Nevada. How's it going,
What's
man?
up? Good, man. Good. I heard that there's some rain in Northern California, which we desperately need here in the mountains because the smoke has been just apocalypse. So hopefully that's going to be out of here relatively soon. Yeah.
Did I tell you last time that the smoke has come here? Or is that?
Oh, God. I've been reading about that. That's pretty insane.
Yeah, it's like this weird gray haze. You're like,
Ugh.
is it cloudy? No, it's not cloudy, but I can't really see the sky. So what's going on?
Wow.
But anyways, yeah. Hey, by the way, you wear that hat often. What is that hat?
Oh, Santa Barbara Classic. It's the only hat I have right now. And it's just a golf tournament that I got this for free a few months ago. Or a few years ago, I got this hat. Yeah. I need hats. If anybody wants to send me a thank you, anything, hats are always good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Today on the show, we're going to hear news about the August Flex release. The scores came out today. I got a lot of emails there. Someone has a question. They need help on RC, reading comprehension. Someone writes in study plan, ? Okay. We have a pearls versus turds. A tip from an admissions counselor. Okay. And Victor's personal statement. Victor, I hope you know what you're in for. But these are fun to read.
Yeah.
In any case, this will air on Monday, September 21st. In 2 days, you will be facing the November LSAT-Flex deadline. So if you're on the fence about the November LSAT-Flex, now's your time to register.
Yep.
If you end up not taking it because you're not ready, well, you lose the money, but at least you had the option to do so if you end up being ready.
Yep.
The October LSAT-Flex starts Saturday, October 3rd, so pretty soon here. And the November LSAT-Flex is starts on Saturday, November 7th. You can always email the show at help@thinkinglsat.com. Include your selfies if you're so inclined. Leave us a review on iTunes. And let's get started. Anything else?
Let's do it.
Okay. You want to read this first email?
Sure. This came in, all of these came in this morning because today is the release date for the August LSAT Flex. Yes, as we record this, it is Friday, September 18th, and the scores are just now coming out. And of course, they fucked it up in a million different ways. But first, we have a nice email from Faith who says, "Hi, Ben and Nathan. I've been listening to your podcast and am a Demon subscriber for a few months now. Praise the Demon. I have taken the LSAT 3 times, April/May, July, and August. So 3 times, and have significantly improved my score, but I still want 5 more points. On the August LSAT Flex, I had multiple issues with the proctor interrupting me or messing with the screen, as well as starting over 2 hours late due to issues with ProctorU, and I lowered my score by 2 points. Is it a bad idea to sign up for the November LSAT? Thanks for the help, Faith." I think we got a clear answer there. What do you want to say, Ben?
Sign up.
Yeah.
Score is the most important thing. Get that score and then worry about everything else later.
If your practice tests indicate you can do better, you must take it again. You would be an idiot not to take it again if your practice tests indicate you can do better. Simple. By the way, I get last night in class, I'm getting a lot of the well, how do I know if I'm ready to take the official test? And I'm like, there's no mystery to it. You take the practice tests seriously, and the practice test scores are going to reflect your ability, and you should expect to get an official score somewhere around the middle of your practice test scores. Yeah. Make sure you work hard, get your practice test average up there to a point where you're comfortable, and then keep taking the official test until you get an official score that reflects your ability. You don't have to match the highest practice test you ever got, but somewhere in the top half of your range. And so it sounds like Faith has been working hard, studying, using the Demon. had a little bit of a dip on the August test. Shit happens. You got to take it again. No brainer. I mean, the
Totally.
bummer is she already kind of fucked up, right? What's her big mistake?
She didn't sign up for October.
Yeah, she should have been signed up for October. And sorry, Faith, but you should have been taking the October test. Now you have to basically like restart your prep and wait until November to take the test. That's not ideal. If your practice tests indicate that you're ready, you should probably be signing up for multiple overlapping LSATs. It's unfortunate you end up wasting money, paying extra money to LSAC, which we cringe every time we recommend this, but it's the best strategy for getting your best score. So
Yeah.
if you are like, if you're taking October, if you're listening to this now and you're already signed up for October, you should sign up for November because you're going to have to take the October test before the November deadline.
Yeah.
It's a bummer, but that's how it works.
Yep.
All right. You want this next one?
Sure. M writes, "Hi, Ben. I'm sure that you're receiving a lot of emails like this today, but I just wanted to say thank you and let you know how helpful your class and the demon was for me. When I took the diagnostic test in February to start your in-person DC class, I scored a very discouraging 140. By the way, a lot of people start around that score.
Yeah, that's not that bad.
It is still can be discouraging. After taking your class and studying with the demon, I scored a 161 in June and was very happy with that score. However, I was advised by my peers to take it one more time. Today, I received my score from the August LSAT and scored a 170. That's so awesome. That's why I included this here. I never imagined that I would be able to score that high, and I am now reconsidering what schools I'm applying to and very excited to start the application process. Thank you again, and I plan to recommend the demon to everyone I know planning to take the LSAT. This is actually a prime example of why you need to take the LSAT until you are scoring officially around where you're scoring on your practice tests. It's once you get the score that you are capable of, everything else changes.
Oh yeah. I mean, that is quite literally a life-changing amount of improvement. I mean, just 160 to 170 is a life-changing amount of improvement.
Yeah.
So it was 140 to 160. 140 to 170 that's a different planet. That's just, that's like, there's a whole range of schools that M couldn't even have gotten into with the 140 that now M shouldn't even be considering with the 170. He or she launched into a different stratosphere. That's awesome.
Yeah, like with a 140, it's like throwing a paper airplane around your house. With a 170, it's like you're getting on the shuttle to go to space.
Yeah.
You're literally like, oh wow, I'm here.
With a 140, you're crumpling up the paper airplane and tossing it into Kobe, tossing it into the trash can. With a 170, you're getting on Elon Musk's rocket ship and blasting off. That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Kevin writes in and says, chaos reigns at LSAC, and they blame students for not following directions. And then the eye roll emoji. It says, for the August-September test, more than 50% of the LSAT writing sessions were flagged for further review due to failure to follow the guidelines, which created a significant backlog of sessions that had to be reviewed. We have pulled in staff from all across LSAC to help process LSAT writing sessions as quickly as possible. So if you have recently completed your LSAT writing, you should receive your score in the next week, and in many cases, much sooner. That's a quote. Kevin is quoting the email that he got from Law School Admission Council. Kevin says, unsurprisingly, the website isn't prepared for all the traffic that they could easily have predicted. It took me 30 minutes to log in and navigate the website to get my score. Thank you, LSAC overlords, Kevin. And then he forwarded the email. I don't know that we need to read this whole thing. It is kind of insane though, isn't it? I mean, these people had to sign up to take the test a full 6 or 7 weeks before they took the test. then the score release is 3 weeks after that. So
Yep.
it's not like law school admission council doesn't know how many customers they have.
Yeah.
They just don't seem to care very much about what kind of hassles they put their customers through. I mean, I got another, this was like a instant message this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Can you believe this fucking LSAC site is crashing? Everyone got emails that scores are available, but no one can log in to see them. The web says there has been an error. Please try again later. If the problem persists, call technical support. It's been like that for almost an hour now. And then like 100 mad face emojis of different sorts. You know, the head exploding one, and the one with the
Yeah.
smoke coming out of the nostrils, and the one with the swear words across the face. Like, just, and then a screenshot of the error that this student was experiencing.
Question for you. What, like, when did the emails with the score in it stop?
That's a good point, because I remember getting my score in my email.
Yeah.
Boy, that would make their lives a lot easier, because then you don't have to log on to get, because I don't think maybe I did log on. I think I did log on because I was like, holy shit, 179. What? Like, I wanted to see the
Yeah.
stats or whatever.
Verify it. Yeah.
It's a good point. I don't know. They're
I'm sure
struggling,
people
man.
complain. They're like, "Oh, so and so saw my score, and I didn't want him to see my score." It's like, hey, it's your email, you
We
know?
were,
Like,
yeah, there's something like that going on. I'm still stuck on this LSAT writing situation. You know, they've been having lots of problems with ProctorU, and they've been having various problems in various ways. But the fact that more than 50% of LSAT writing sessions were flagged for further review due to failure to follow the guidelines.
the guidelines weren't clear enough, or they're not being enforced accurately, or there's just to blame it on the students is pretty crazy.
Well,
I'm down with it. If it's like 10%, then like, hey, look, you guys messed up. You didn't get the protocol. You didn't follow the rules. But more than 50%, that means you're not communicating effectively.
well, dude, can I also ask, why the fuck are they taking LSAT writing so seriously?
There should be no reason.
The,
Like you
it,
said last time, they should just accept these and move on.
can I tell you I mean, this is from the LSAC email, which, by the way, is one of these signed anonymously. It's signed sincerely,
Oh.
candidate services. It's not,
No one wants to take the blame for this.
no one's saying, no one's putting their name on it. Here's what it says. Here are the most common reasons for LSAT writing sessions being flagged for further review. 1. Failure to show to the camera an appropriate photo ID and capture a clear image of your ID when prompted by the system. That one I get. I mean, you have to prove
Sure.
it's you. I
Yep.
get that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
2. Failure to show both sides of your blank page of scratch paper during the room scan, as well as which, by the way, that's terrible writing.
Well,
Right?
and you have another and coming.
Yeah.
So you have a as well as and an and.
Okay. Failure to show both sides of your blank scratch paper during the room scan, as well as any writing instruments, comma, and your soft foam earplugs, comma, if you are planning on using these items.
Well, duh.
That's awful writing.
Yeah.
Please, God damn it, stop. But why do they give a shit about your scratch paper? It's a novel prompt, right? You can't have
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless they're using the same prompt for multiple people, which why would they? Those prompts are so easy. Like, they have hundreds of them.
Yeah.
They should just use the old writing sample prompts and just give everybody a kind of a different one. And there's no way you could have a book of responses to every single, I mean, I
And if
suppose you
anyone
could.
went back and actually did all of them,
Then good
well,
on them.
yeah, good on them. That one person wasted their time on something that's unimportant, and now they can have a great writing sample.
Dude, you have to show your soft foam earplugs to the camera. You have to show your pen or pencil or whatever. Okay. The the uh, the most common reasons for LSAT writing sessions being flagged for further review continues. We're only halfway through the list of most common reasons, which means there's probably an additional list of other reasons. But anyway, number 3, you cannot wear or have near you any kind of digital watch, smart watch, fitness tracker, or other electronic device while completing the LSAT writing section, parentheses, unless you have an LSAC improved accommodation. A comma would have been fine there, huh? Instead of the parentheses. But the point is,
I would just drop the whole idea. Like if you got the accommodation, you get it. You got it.
Right. You know you got it if you got it.
Yeah.
Because you have like, you need a blood sugar monitor or whatever. Like, yeah, we get it. You fucking pacemaker. Like, yeah, okay. But you can't wear a Fitbit? Come on, man.
How many steps did I walk today? 5,000.
What? Like,
yeah.
Well, let people wear their damn Apple Watch. Who cares? How are you possibly going to, how is your Apple Watch, what? Is your Apple Watch going to be giving you Morse code?
That alone would be impressive. They should get points for that.
Once again, it's like, good on you. If you found a way to have Morse code signals sent through your Apple Watch so that you can write a brilliant LSAT writing, good for you. Like, you're going to be a damn good lawyer because you're thinking outside the box. Like, that's fantastic. Why are they fucking with people with all of these ridiculous, unnecessary restrictions? Okay, number 4, failure to remove any mobile phones, backpacks, or other prohibited items from your testing area, which, by the way, Ben, I'm pretty sure everything is prohibited unless it's explicitly allowed, right? That was in another email that they sent.
We talked about that, yeah. If it's not listed here, it's prohibited, which would include your t-shirt.
Yes, your chonies are on. It didn't explicitly say you could wear the BVDs, so everybody has to go commando for the LSAT writing. But what do you mean you can't have a backpack on your desk at home where you're taking the LSAT writing? Why? Like, they expect everybody to empty out the room that they're in. You have to like go in and it has to be like a clean room. Yeah. As if you're like creating microchips or something in there. It has to have, or like you're inventing the COVID vaccine. You have to get rid of everything out of the room so that you could have a pristine testing environment, not even for the LSAT-Flex, but for the fucking LSAT writing, which nobody gives a shit about.
No one cares.
Okay, and so now they're
like, hey, Sullivan testing centers, those places are cleared out. What is it, Sylvan?
Sylvan.
I say it wrong. Sylvan testing centers are cleared out, so you have to recreate that. We're competing with them.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, the bizarre thing is that ultimately they are just kicking themselves in the nuts. You know, they're causing themselves a customer service nightmare.
They created these rules and now they have to enforce them, and it's a nightmare.
Yeah. And it's like the easy solution for 2020 is get rid of stupid LSAT writing. Just get rid of it. Nobody wants it. Nobody cares. And we're in a tough time. It's a tough year. It's okay to get rid of LSAT writing. That would be totally fine. No one's going to care about that. You could bring it back in 2021.
Yep.
You know, like, get the LSAT-Flex sorted out first and then worry about LSAT writing.
You know, that just gave me this idea. I realized it would mess with the whole like application process, but when you talk about streamlining life, right, making life easier, don't just get rid of LSAT writing. Get rid of the whole application process and submit our GPA and LSAT scores to all the schools and let them reach out to you. And if they're at all interested, then you can send them a personal statement.
Yeah, that would be good. And an LSAT writing. Right? Like,
if you want
to. Well, sure. The thing is, they won't do that because it would show their lie in you're not just the numbers. Every law school, you're more than just the numbers to us. We thoroughly evaluate every application. Bullshit. No, you don't. Like, someone applies to Harvard with a 140 and a 2.5.
They're not considering you at all.
No, you're not even close. And so, but it would be too obvious. So instead, they're going to make you jump through a bunch of hoops, which you have no chance, of getting in, but you're going to have to still do LSAT writing, and you're going to have to do a personal statement. You're going to have to get letters of recommendation. And people out there are going to be like, well, but there's an exception. Okay. You're right. There is 1 out of a 10,000 exception to that rule.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't even know that there actually has ever been somebody with a 140 and a 2.5 going to Harvard. Maybe. So, email the show, help@thinkinglsat.com. We'd love to hear about it.
6-7 years ago, I had a student in my DC class who was a politician from some country in Africa. I can't remember which country.
Gotcha. Yeah, your former prime minister of Bahrain or whatever. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So he was taking my class, right? And he had actually left the country because of persecution. And he had friends at Harvard. I mean, it wasn't surprising. This guy also gave me a watch in class one time. He was the perfect prime minister. It's like or a politician. He's going to get where he wants to get through other means, not just his LSAT.
Through fundraising. Anyways, fundraising is always a good way. Yeah.
Yeah. He told me, he's like, oh yeah, I had these 2 professor friends at Harvard, and they were telling me that the lowest score that they would ever admit was a 151. And that's what he's like, I have to get a 151 so they accept me there. And I was like, interesting insight. Okay.
So that sounds right. For Harvard, I can't. Why would they ever admit somebody with a below average LSAT? I mean, it's just not hard to get yourself to 150.
Yeah.
Or if it is, I'm sorry, if it is hard to get to 150, you're not going to Harvard. Like, that's you got the people that you would be going to school with rolled out of bed with a 165 and then studied their way to a 175. If it's hard for you, you're really struggling to get to a 150. You don't want to be at Harvard. I mean, you're going to have a fucking hard time competing against those people.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's the last line of this email. We hope that you will continue to pursue your goal of legal education. The world needs your voice and your advocacy now more than ever.
What?
All right.
Hurrah. Okay.
That's all our updates that we got for today. We continue to get tons of emails about the August LSAT-Flex. Maybe we'll have more news next week. You want to jump on this help on RC?
Yeah, I'll take it. So, hey guys, love the podcast. What is your guys's best advice for reading comp? Our best advice? Okay. I score well on games and logical reasoning, but I have room to improve on reading comp. On games, I miss 1 to 2 questions. On logical reasoning, I miss 3 or 4. But on reading comp, I miss 8 or 9. I have a tough time finishing, and I hate some of the questions. Okay. I wanted to know how to improve before the November LSAT. Also, when would be the ideal time to apply to law schools for 2021 post-November LSAT? Thanks, John. Let's start with his first question. Yeah.
John must be a new listener. We're doing a better job teaching reading comprehension now than we ever have before. We have started teaching it in a way that we read the passage to you and we demonstrate the type of thought process we're engaging in as we read the passage. Basically, what we're doing is we're demonstrating active reading. Most books, most LSAT classes have a terrible conception of active reading. They're telling you to highlight, they're telling you to underline, they're telling you to take notes. That shit is a waste of time and it does not help you comprehend. If you watch our videos in the Demon, which we have now dozens of them, probably coming up on hundreds of these videos where we call it story time. It's actually really fun, surprisingly fun. I do
Yeah.
basically a dramatic reading of the passage, and I talk to the author. That's what we're going for. We're going for a conversation. You don't need to take notes. You need to have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a conversation with the author, then you're going to comprehend what they said. And when you comprehend what they said, you're going to realize that the questions are easy. The questions are asking, did you comprehend the passage? That's all they're asking.
Yeah.
They're going to ask you 6 or 7 or 8 times. They're going to ask you, did you read it? Did you comprehend? Do you understand? Do you understand what the passage said?
You
So
know what the
John,
author's trying to tell you? Yeah.
yeah, it's clear, John, if you hate some of the questions, it's because you didn't read the passage well enough. So you
Yep.
have to learn to read the passage well enough. I would definitely recommend watching some of my videos in the Demon. We also have a basic RC class taught by Rebecca that people have found super helpful. But I feel like people are improving more now on reading comp than they ever were before.
Yeah.
Because of this different shift in the way we're doing it. It's just like we blow people's minds because they're like, wow, you're having all of that kind of a conversation with the author? And it's like, yeah, because that's how I comprehend what they wrote.
Exactly. And I would say it's interesting too, because when you show people that path and then they start to walk down it, they still don't walk down it as far as you'd like them to at
Right.
first.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, okay, I got it. I need to
Yeah.
engage more. And you're like, okay, read that first sentence. Tell me what you're thinking. And there's still this like superficial approach. And you're like, okay, you got to go further until you
Yeah.
get it. And then you're going to start acing the questions and it's all going to make sense.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to beat them down that path, show them the
Mm-hmm.
path, and then they start going down the path, but then they turn around and go back the other way. It's like, no, we're going to go all the way down that path.
Yep.
On reading comp, the passage is a collection of all the right answers, and the questions, no matter how it's worded, all they're really asking you is, did you understand what you just read?
Yeah.
So wait, naive students or novices always miss questions that sound like, which one of the following, it can be inferred from the passage that the author would be most likely to agree with which one of the following.
Yeah.
All that means is, what did it say? They don't want you to infer anything. They don't want you to speculate about the mental state of the author. They want you to pick an answer that is firmly grounded in what you just read.
Yep.
So it's for John, it's way easier than John thinks it is. You have to read the passage better in the first place, and then you have to pick answers that are just firmly rooted in the evidence in the passage. And they should be pretty easy if you read the passage better. So John's worried about time, clearly, right? I have a tough time finishing. Well, John, your problem isn't that you have a tough time finishing. Your problem is that you're missing 8 or 9 questions. I don't want you to finish. I want you to read the passages better. If you run out of time and miss a few at the end, that's okay. What's not okay is missing 8 or 9 of the questions that you did, with scare quotes around it. You did those questions. No, you didn't. You didn't find the right answer, so you didn't actually do them. So, John, you're not actually finishing anyway.
Yeah.
You're only finishing if you get the questions right. Okay.
That's a good point to hit home.
Yeah. That's a good way of delivering it, right?
You haven't done anything if you got it wrong.
No, you didn't do your work. I mean, you did shitty work. You did sloppy work. Oh, but I finished the section. Well, I don't care. Anybody can finish the section and miss them all, or miss 8 or 9 questions. That's more than a whole passage worth of questions. So John thinks he's finishing, but he's not, because he didn't actually find the right answer. He just skimmed the surface and was confused, and he guessed. By the way, if he missed 8 or 9, that means he like half-assed. He got 8 more right with like a half guess.
Yeah.
And that's not what you should be doing. You should be feeling good about your answers. You should be confident that you're getting them right. Yeah. Okay. When would be the ideal time to apply to law schools for 2021 post November LSAT, Ben? John's a new
Uh,
listener. John's not going to like this
Never.
news. Yeah, right.
Don't apply this
Why?
cycle. Apply next cycle.
Why?
You're throwing away money and opportunity by applying after the November LSAT. It's that simple.
Yeah. You might get in to shittier schools and they might charge you full price. And that might be the worst thing that ever happened to you if you got into law school in 2021 at some shitty school paying full price. If you apply at the beginning of the cycle, you're going to get into better schools and they're going to charge you less. That's why we always advise people to apply at the beginning of the cycle, ideally September, certainly before Halloween. And if that's not you, no big deal. Applications open in September on September 1st for the next year's class. And that'll be here before you know it. So, if you're taking November, I can't imagine that you're going to get your best offer applying in December or January.
Yeah.
One
Plus,
exception.
it sounds, yeah.
Yale. Yale apparently doesn't evaluate any applications until after their deadline.
They don't accept anybody until after their deadline?
Right.
When is their deadline?
January or something like that.
That seems like such an odd strategy. I mean, it's Yale, so maybe they just say fuck it. But
Yeah,
it
that's
seems
what
like
it
you'd
is.
be losing people to Harvard and Stanford who have already said we'll accept you, but maybe people just wait. I don't know.
I could be wrong, but that's what I've heard recently. We'll have to ask Carl. Carl, we have two LSAT Demon teachers now who just both recently got into Yale, and they deferred for a year, so they're not starting until 2021. But Carl and Katie both just got into Yale, and we'll ask them, and we'll make sure that we have an answer. But I'm pretty sure Yale only waits until their deadline to evaluate any applications. All other schools that I know of do rolling admissions, which means they start trying to poach the very best applicants at the beginning of the cycle. I mean, think about it. If you're Georgetown, you're not Yale, you're a damn good law school, the best law school in DC, and you want to raise the prestige of your school, you would like to be considered like Yale is considered. And if you have somebody applying in September with a 175 and a 4.0, well, that's what Yale students look like. And if you're Georgetown, you're going to have to offer that person a scholarship to try to get them to come to Georgetown instead of going to Yale.
Yeah.
And that's why John needs to apply early in the cycle instead of applying in December or January.
Also, John, it sounds like the November LSAT is your first LSAT, and you're just selling yourself short if you don't take it in November and in January. Should just plan on taking two tests.
And maybe even more times in the spring. I mean, hopefully one of your first two attempts is the one, but I've just seen hundreds of students get their best score on their third attempt.
Yeah.
You should at least be open to that possibility if you're serious about a legal career. Study plan.
Yeah.
Hi, Nathan and Ben. After 7 weeks with a PowerScore private tutor, while averaging 20 hours a week of studying, my score has only improved on average 4 points. My diagnostic score was a 154, and the highest I've been able to score since was a 162. I've scored 158 3 times. I have taken one full practice test each week. So 20 hours a week of studying, one full test a week for 7 weeks, made it from a 154 diagnostic, that's just one data point, to an average of 158 and a high of 162.
I don't think it sounds like he's upset or she, and that's just part of, I don't know. I wouldn't read too much into this.
Yeah, it's very small samples, so we can't really say much. I'm looking to score a 175 so that I can attend Columbia with significant scholarships in order to improve my score by the October LSAT or latest November. To apply for this rapidly approaching application season, what study plan should I undertake? I just bought a subscription for the LSAT Demon this week and plan to use the Demon between a timed practice section every day and a practice test each weekend. But other than that, is there something else I should do? I'm so frustrated with my lack of improvement and am willing to put in the time. I just don't know what to focus on at this point. Unfortunately, I have already spent so much money. I simply can't afford to hire a different tutor. Thanks for the advice, Anonymous. You know what? I want to start with tutoring shouldn't be your first thing.
It should not be your first thing. You got. I mean, it's so crazy with the live classes every day. My preference would be to get a refund. Sorry, I'm just kind of going on a tangent here, but yeah.
Ben's talking about Demon Live, which is a new thing that we only started doing in COVID times. I got a very nice email today from somebody telling me that the Demon Live classes were the highlight of her COVID experience, being able to come to all of these Demon classes. Well, it is. I mean, it's like a community, you know, like there's people there. It's cool. Anyway, we have multiple classes literally 7 days a week. We haven't taken holidays off, I don't think. We went ahead and had classes. Wait, did we skip the 4th of July? Maybe we skipped the 4th of July.
We skipped the 4th of July, but that was just a practice test day anyways back then. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we have had classes every single day, and we're just adding more and more of them. And for $295 a month, that's the cost of one tutoring session probably. Or maybe two tutoring sessions with PowerScore. With us, it's what? Yeah, two tutoring sessions with our team.
Yeah.
But we would never try to sell you those tutoring sessions. We actually require you to work in the Demon before we'll even let you work with our tutors. And the reason why we do that is because we don't want to fucking rip you off. Like, when I work with private students, all I ever do is try to point them in the direction of the crazy amount of resources that are in the LSAT Demon. You know, it's like, you should be working on this by yourself or come to classes, but you should be building a study routine on your own first using the existing resources. And then if you're still stuck and really need extra one-on-one help, then do the tutoring. And it's a shame that so many people pay so much money. They just think, oh, I need a private tutor. And then they just start wasting money on private tutoring.
Yeah, I mean, let me be clear. It costs more, so they're thinking, oh, it's going to be more effective, but not necessarily.
It's a waste of money if you're not going to be studying on your own in between your tutoring sessions. It's just a complete waste. Like, I mean, if you want to pay me to babysit you every single day while you study, I wouldn't even do that. Like, I would tap out. I would just be like, no, I can't. Like, I cannot in good conscience do that.
Clearly this person is studying between the tutoring sessions, but sorry.
No, I didn't mean to indicate. You're right. Thanks for pointing that out. No, Anonymous clearly is also studying. Unfortunately, studying with weak materials and apparently maybe a weak tutor and paying thousands of dollars for it. And I think you're going to be much better off now with the Demon. I might divide it up 3 ways. Some combination of drilling, timed sections or timed tests, and live classes.
Yep.
And then make whatever schedule you want. I don't care. We don't have to get too precious about exactly how we break it up, but find the teachers you like in the Demon. Maybe it's me, maybe it's somebody else. Come to the classes you like. Do timed sections. We by the way, we have group timed sections. We have group timed tests. So you can attend those if you want to sign up for them and attend those. It can help for the motivation, and you can also meet people and that kind of stuff. It's cool. But combination of classes, timed practice, and then untimed drilling.
And when you go to a class and you like it and you learn something from it, then you just take what you learn into drilling or into a practice section or a practice test. Like, you don't have to think too hard about what you're going to do next. You just have to focus on learning from everything that you do.
I was talking about that last night. I was like, hey, all you got to do is learn one thing tonight,
Yep.
or it was a 2-hour class. I was like, hey, maybe you can learn one thing in the first hour and one thing in the second hour. How about that? Break it down into bite-sized chunks. You don't have to get to 175 tonight. What you have to do is you have to get from, 158 to 159. And then you have to get from 159 to 160. It's just like one question, one thing you missed. Maybe you thought you got it right and you were surprised that you missed it. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's dig in there and let's figure out exactly why you made that mistake. Hopefully you don't make that mistake next time. And that's how you learn. So I can't promise that Anonymous is going to have any particular score by October or even November. But I think that's my advice for everybody, right? No matter what your plan is, no matter when you're trying to apply, no matter what your goal score is, combination of classes, tutoring, or classes, time sections, drilling. That's it.
My concern is that Anonymous's tutor, and we don't know anything about this tutor. So this tutor could be amazing.
Right.
But given the fact that the tutor works for PowerScore and PowerScore has a tendency to focus on lists and rules and lists of rules, semantics, all these things,
trademarked little
concerned
gimmicks.
Yeah. Marking up the reading comp passage, labeling things in the reading comp passage based on whether they have like an acronym, right? I don't even remember what the acronym is, but
extensive analyses of which letter is most common for when you guess.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Don't even get me started. I'm worried that it's possible you're getting good information from that tutor alongside of really shitty information. And there's no way for you, not no way, but it's very difficult for you to filter and decide which things are best. And if you're getting led astray, that tutoring is actually hurting you, ironically, even though you're paying more.
The thing that I can promise you, if you come to us from any other LSAT prep, you're going to get to forget half of what you think you've learned. You think you've learned stuff, but your practice test scores don't reflect it. That's because the shit you've learned is bullshit. And half of it you just get to jettison as soon as you start studying with us. It's a whole different ball game. It's a much more natural, intuitive, common sense, plain spoken way of doing the test. It's not as hard as you think it is, and our job is to show you how it's not that hard.
So although I disagree with PowerScore and their methodology, I see them as at least an honest or semi-legit company. So I would expect if you ask for a refund, they would possibly give it to you. Just say, hey, look, I don't want to use the rest of my hours. That's what I would do. I have no idea what their policy is on that, but I could imagine.
On the remaining hours, you should definitely be able to get some sort of a deal.
Yeah.
You haven't done the hours yet. You should get a refund.
Yeah.
All right. Want to move on?
Yep. Pearls versus turds.
Want to say what pearls versus turds is?
Sure. Yeah. So pearls versus turds is where we evaluate various suggestions that are out there in the LSAT universe. And if it's good advice, if we would teach it in class or have yet to do so, but want to now, we give it a pearl. Otherwise, it's a turd. Some things have been deemed ties because they are a mix of good and bad, and we can't decide, but ultimately they're bad because they're not helpful. So, hey guys, I've been part of a couple of LSAT-focused Facebook groups and discovered a major pearl. Okay, so there's a lot of Cess out there in these cesspools called Facebook groups.
What is Cess?
I don't know, but I just assumed it's bad. Um, Tell me what you discover.
I only am getting cessation. Go ahead. We'll
Okay, here it is. Don't listen to what those ridiculous self-proclaimed LSAT tutors are selling you. Okay, that would include us. There's one tutor, in scare quotes, in a group who creates his own daily LR questions that don't resemble actual LSAT LR questions in any useful
Oh
way.
no.
I'm always I always am telling people to just get the demon. What in hell's bells would be the purpose of practicing questions that aren't actual LSAT questions? You need to learn the LSAT, not Joe Tudor's questions he created at home in his house coat. Okay, well, I mean, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I didn't know what. So the advice, the supposed pearl here is don't listen to those ridiculous self-proclaimed LSAT tutors are selling you, or what
yeah.
those ridiculous. It's kind of vague, right? We are self-proclaimed LSAT tutors, so maybe you need to be more specific. Don't listen to people who write their own questions
For
and
sure.
yeah, pan them
For
off as
sure.
sufficient. I'm
Yeah.
actually down with writing my own question, but it would not be it would not be the means of drilling. It would be more like I don't know, a one-off. Let me try to illustrate something.
Also, if we wrote a question, you would not be able to differentiate it from an official question.
No,
Like,
especially if we wrote it together. I would go through the gauntlet.
yeah, I mean, I've written myself 2,000 logical reasoning explanations, but I would
Yeah.
be able to write a damn good LR question or a damn good logic game like that. We would come up with
Yeah.
pretty solid ones. So this this crazy person on Facebook is giving away fake practice questions that he wrote, and they don't even look like official questions. Yeah, you can disregard. All right, go
Okay.
ahead. Sorry.
Another one, yeah. Another tutor thinks that the LSAT books and courses have a shelf life because the LSAT writers have figured out that their strategies are being learned. And this tutor is offering the inside scoop on the newest strategies that won't succumb to the same problems. Sarah writes, okay, then. That's pretty good. Okay, next one. Prior to watching people get bewitched by this nonsense, I wouldn't have considered this a pearl. I would have thought it was just common sense. It appears, however, that it needs to be said. So maybe it's a pearl after all. It also might be a pearl to get out of those groups and off Facebook altogether. Yeah, Facebook is it's
It's
dying.
evil. It's
Yeah.
terrible. You have to get off Facebook. Yeah.
Thanks for listening to my rant. I appreciate that you guys deliver the real deal without the BS. I can't wait to be added to the small list of pearls and go to law school for free. Smiley face and demon face, which is apt.
Nice.
Yours in a pursuit and passion for justice. Jokes, jokes. Sarah. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's odd. You know, you would think that this would not be needed, but it's not obvious to people. They find this stuff, they get swept away in it. Geez, that books one is funny too. Anyways, thanks, Sarah.
I vote Pearl.
Okay. Yep.
I have said this a million times in class. When people start telling me about something that they read on Facebook or something that they read on Reddit about the LSAT, it's almost always wrong. And I instantly tell people, get off Facebook, get off Reddit, stop it. It's also one of my main tips for, I forgot to say this last night, unfortunately. Somebody was asking me about anxiety. How do I get rid of anxiety for the I'm really starting to feel anxious about this October LSAT that's coming up. And I'm like, get off Reddit, get off
You know
Facebook,
what?
stop
Yeah,
it.
that's so true. It's ironic because people feel anxious and they seem to like think that going onto Reddit and reading about this stuff is going to allay their fears. Like, oh, they're going to somehow hear what other people are saying, but it only adds fuel to the fire. It creates anxieties that don't need to exist.
Yeah. I call this a pearl for sure. Um, it's so hilarious, dude. The idea that the LSAT writers have figured out that their strategies are being learned, and so therefore books have a shelf life. What?
You know what that's in reference to? That's in reference to the power score. Let me guess what the last correct answer is going to be.
Well, yeah, it could be. It definitely could be. Yeah,
When you deal with bullshit, yes, LSAC is going to write around that.
yeah.
If it's actual logic, no, it's never going to change.
Well, I take the Pepsi challenge, man. I don't think if I took a random logical reasoning question from Prep Test 2 and put it alongside a random logical reasoning question from Prep Test 89, you're not going to be able to tell me which one is from 89 and which one is from 2.
Yeah.
Even on the games, or like, oh, for example, famously, there recently was a which one of the following strengthens the least,
Mm-hmm.
right? That was on like Prep Test 87 or 88 or 89, and people are like, wow, look, they came up with a whole new type of questions. Until I was teaching classes on some of the old or doing explanations for the older tests, and I found literally which one of the following strengthens the least on like Prep Test 2.
Yeah.
So it might look like they're creating new shit, but they're not. Not only that, but they're so tuned out from what their customers and what the LSAT prep providers are doing. They don't give a shit. Do you think
Yeah.
that they read the books or like they are aware of the LSAT trainer or the loophole or any of these other recent gimmicks? They don't give one shit.
Nope.
They do not care. It's, they're in an ivory tower. They're not thinking about that stuff, I promise.
Yeah.
Um, all right, that was
This next
Sarah.
email's,
That was
yeah.
a
Thank you,
Pearl.
sir. Pearl.
Sarah.
Yeah. Wow. That's unusual. So did you already update the
I did.
scoreboard?
That's our
9
ninth
pearls.
Pearl
Huh. Cool.
against 36 turds and 19 ties. So that's a total, or that's a 1 in 7 ratio of pearls to turds/ties. Next one, I
Okay.
got it.
Yeah. This one's really long. Do we have time for this?
Yeah, well, yeah, we have time. I
Okay.
don't think we maybe have time to do the personal statement, but we have.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Whoa. Oh, this is good, I think. I mean,
Okay.
this is going to be like a one big pearls versus turds here, I think.
Okay.
Hi, Ben and Nathan. As a non-traditional applicant, I've been navigating through the admissions process mostly on my own and figuring it out as I go. Then obnoxiously 2 spaces between sentences. Please, when you write in the show, just use 1 space. Otherwise, we're going to have to slam you for it. During a meeting with an admissions counselor from one of the schools I am interested in, she suggested I speak to my undergrad career services center. While this might seem like a no-brainer, I probably never would have thought to utilize that resource. Don't say utilize, say use instead. I don't know if that's a common thing most non-traditional applicants do, but it could be a cool little pro tip for those who have been out of academia for a while and may have forgotten what services their alma mater provides. During my first meeting with someone from Career Services, the counselor looked over my rough draft for my personal statement and sent me a document to use as a guide/outline for completing my statement. I read through it, and I suspect it was designed for people applying to any sort of graduate program, not necessarily just law school applicants. Either way, I have attached his outline to this email, and I am curious about your opinions on these suggestions. A pearls versus turds for personal statements, if you will. Thanks for all you do. Praise the demon, R. Okay, so here's the tips. Ready?
Yep.
Maybe we can do these kind of rapid fire-ish.
Sure.
Tip 1, your personal statement ties the rest of your application together.
Sure.
It's not really a
Kind
tip,
of.
but yeah, okay. 2, connect your
Agree.
statement to the rest of your application.
Okay. Yeah,
I
it
mean,
needs to make sense in the context of your resume, maybe.
well,
Um,
the best personal statements, I think, are showing people kicking ass at work or maybe kicking ass in school if they're really young, but mostly kicking ass at work.
these 2 first tips are just vague. I don't even know what to do with them. So,
Good point. 3, personal statement's main purpose, to demonstrate to a department that you understand how to formulate and pursue a research question and that there is a good fit between your question and the department.
No, bad advice.
Well, I'm sure that's the case if you're applying to, a PhD program, but you're not. You're applying to a JD program. All law schools are basically the same. They don't actually care about you're not qualified to formulate any kind of a legal research question.
Nope.
So you definitely don't want to act like you are. The first paragraph will sway the reader into finishing your statement. We want to stand out and be different. We may want to convey an epiphany or an aha moment. Be sincere, be honest, be positive, and trace the evolution of your interests.
Oh, geez. Okay, so all 4 of these tips so far have been bad. They're
vague
not useful.
or I mean,
and this is counter advice. I agree that the first paragraph should sway your
yes.
reader into finishing your statement, but that's okay. How? And then they say how, and all of the advice on how is backwards.
Ben, do you think law schools want people who stand out and are different?
Yeah, I want that attorney who's got that crazy ass idea on how my case could be won. Unfortunately, it doesn't comport with any precedent.
The vast majority of lawyers are corporate worker bees. That's the lawyers that make a lot of money, are corporate worker bees.
Yeah.
They want people who are smart as shit, hardworking, and don't really ruffle, don't really step out of line.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks that they're going to go to law school and become Thurgood Marshall. That's not what's actually happening. Almost everyone, if you're going to get a job, almost everyone is going to go to law school, and you're going to be a cog in the machine.
Yeah, it's like going into the military thinking you're going to be a general. No, you're going to be a soldier.
Right.
That's what you're going to do, and you're going to do what's told. You're told
By the way,
to do.
In order to be a general, step 1 is be the best soldier.
Yep.
So
follow orders.
You need to look like a rule follower. You do need to look like somebody who is capable of identifying problems and solving those problems. But I don't think you want to look like a renegade.
No, you're doing it within the context of an organization that wants that problem solved. And you're solving it in a way that's consistent with their values.
Like, I've seen tips before for personal statements that are like, make sure you show some flair.
Oh my gosh.
Please don't.
Well, this last tip here too, be sincere, be honest, be positive. Well, be positive. I agree with that. But people are going to misinterpret this vague advice. Be honest. Oh, now I'm going to open up my soul and tell you about all the mistakes I've had or the problem I had when I was a freshman. It's like, nope.
I hate the last bit of this. Trace the evolution of your interests.
Oh my gosh. When I was 5, I was interested in justice.
No, the best personal statement is a page and a half. And there ain't no trace the evolution of your interests. They don't care. They care what you've done about your interests. We don't need the evolution of high school and, then college and then your first job and none of that.
You're wasting so much precious space on unimportant things.
Okay. Turds. Number 5, use vivid detail to make points. Refrain from making you the center of your statement. Spend time. Well, wait a second, Ben. It's a personal statement.
But also, how do these 2 sentences have to do with each other?
They don't. Spend time describing your experiences in terms of what they were. That's unnecessary words there. Describing your experiences. You could have just said describing your experiences. Not in terms of what they were and what you did to achieve such experiences. Focus on descriptions of your experience. This is word vomit.
This last sentence has
Dude,
math.
Hey, It's math. Specificity plus flexibility equals admission.
But they use a
The
plus
fuck does
sign.
that even mean? Flexibility? Specificity plus flexibility equals admission.
Okay, I don't even want to read the rest of these. These are awful.
I do because they're so bad. It's good comedy.
Okay, go for it.
What does that mean? I want to shake whoever wrote this and I want to go, what the fuck do you mean by specificity plus flexibility equals admission? How dare you? How dare you waste people's time with this? Okay, number 6, write as if you will be admitted. Let's use graduate level academic language, comma, use jargon.
I bet they meant not jargon.
No. I think they meant use jargon.
What the hell?
You have to take them at their word, Ben. And they just said, let's use graduate level academic language.
This has got to.
Purpose?
This is fucking ridiculous.
You think it's trolling? No, this is from a school. This is from someone's counselor at some school. The name of the school has been redacted.
Hey, this is actually a good opportunity to take a moment to pause and tell people what's going to happen their first year of law school. You're going to read a bunch of old cases and opinions that were written with legal jargon, and to exalt yourself, to make yourself an attorney, you're going to start using those words, and you should not. The best writers know what they mean, but they don't use them. The Supreme Court Justice, the Chief Justice of our Supreme Court, John Roberts, does not use jargon. So you're not belittling yourself. You're not lowering yourself by avoiding those terms.
No, you should write for clarity. The best writing is writing that other people can understand. And if you use a bunch of jargon, then it makes it harder to read. And so this is the exact opposite of what you should actually be doing.
Yeah.
Your experience at University Redacted allows for small classes, rigorous curriculum, writing enhanced classes, close faculty mentors, undergraduate research opportunities.
Is that advice?
I think that was just a brief commercial, a brief reminder of how great your school is. Okay. All right. Tip. That was not a tip at all. That was just like, your school is the shit. All right. Number 8.
Skip ad in 5 seconds.
Yeah. Discuss what most fascinates you about this field. If you have a well-defined career path, state it along with your intentions. Maybe.
Maybe one sentence at the end.
Yeah, if you're already a paralegal in mergers and acquisitions and you love mergers and acquisitions, and I think your personal statement, it probably should show you kicking ass at your job, which is mergers and acquisitions. And I think it'll be pretty clear there that you have this path. I don't think you need to talk about your intentions very much. Yeah, maybe one sentence at the very end. But your intentions don't matter. What matters is what you've actually done.
Yeah.
Show that you have thought about what your life would be like if you pursued this career choice and how graduate school will help you reach your career choice. Discuss how graduate school will allow you to focus your efforts on, and then an ellipses? On whatever it is that you're interested in, I guess. God, whoever wrote this should be ashamed of themselves, but no, you should not be speculating about what you think your life as a lawyer is going to be like. You make yourself look so naive when you do that, because you don't know. People don't know what they're getting themselves into at all in most cases. Yeah. Number 10, don't be afraid to reveal personal details of your life, specifically ones that can be translated into positive aspects of yourself. Being a little more personal than you think is good.
Okay, so
Maybe.
I facepalmed here because I was worried about people revealing personal details that can be translated into positive aspects. They're going to take something negative and they're going to be like, look,
to try to spin it
Yeah, I
positive.
learned this.
Yes.
Like, oh no, you just revealed that you're. What was that one where they were late to class?
Oh my God, dude. Well, oh, they were lost.
Yeah, they were
And they like
lost.
made a new friend who helped them get where they needed to go because they were late and lost. Yeah. That's personal, but you don't need to do that.
Yeah.
Also, you do not need to talk about medical issues,
Yeah.
including
Yeah.
drug and alcohol issues. You do not need to talk about those things. Let me rephrase. You need not to talk about those things. You do not need to talk about depression and anxiety. You do not need to talk about your criminal record. You do not need to talk about your bad performances in school. You do not need to talk about any personal litigation that you have ever been involved in, or you or your family.
Yep.
You do not need to be airing dirty laundry. Now, if you super kicked ass on a project in the last year, tell me about that. Be personal. Absolutely.
See, I think what's funny is when she says being a little more personal than you think is good, people are going to read this as like, oh, like show my humor side or something like that. No, by personal, we mean tell us a story about something you did and just tell us what you did.
And it needs to be positives. None of this spinning negatives into positives or starting off with some problem about you. It needs to be, you're a badass. You found it. There was an obstacle maybe, but you overcame it right away.
Yep.
Like, just get to the winning part. If you chose not to answer any application essay questions, give a reason why you chose not to answer. What? No. In your personal statement? No.
I decided not to write the diversity statement because.
I'm white as fuck. And then I didn't think it was appropriate.
And I thought I'd say that here in my personal statement. What?
I decided not to write I decided not to answer the question about whether I had any criminal issues because the one time that I got caught smoking weed in the dorms is not on my record.
They forgot to file the complaint, so it's not official.
So I don't have to talk about that. I didn't put my DUI because my dad is the district attorney and I was able to
Yeah.
not. Okay, don't do that. Let's see. This is
Number
great.
12.
Number 12.
Yeah.
Show you have done research on the program. Show how your interests match with their interests. Person, environment, fit, period. Most of your statement will discuss your person and your experiences. It is important to discuss the environment to which you are applying. Mention their curriculum, mention 2 to 3 faculty by name, and specifically what interests you about their research. Nope, does not apply to law school. You can use the same personal statement for
Well,
all law
also,
schools.
this all just seems like word vomit. Like, I really don't know what this person is saying.
Well,
it
but
is
I think that
important to
does
discuss
apply.
the environment to the which
No,
you
for
are applying.
PhD programs.
The environment? Like,
Well,
I wish the person was a little more
Oh, I see what
precise
you mean.
with their
Yeah.
wording. Like,
Well, what they meant was name faculty, name research projects. Yeah, they didn't need to put the environment. You're right. Number 13, it is good to mention faculty by name. Oh, at this school. That needed to be redacted there. It's a good idea to mention redacted faculty by name, thought leaders in the field that have influenced you, and 2 to 3 faculty at the school to which you are applying, which they just said in the previous tip. So they didn't need to say that again. But do you need to mention your own professors in your undergraduate? No. No, you do not need to do that. Number 14, do not go past the word limit. Typically, personal statements are 500 to 1,000 words, if not otherwise stated. Does that apply for law school? 500 to 1,000?
I think so, actually. That sounds about right. But I would say it's 2 pages. So let's edit that and just say 2 pages. And yes, I agree 100%. Do not go past the word limit. If you do that, you are making a mistake that will be penalized for the rest of your career. Judges who see attorneys going past the word limit are saying, what the fuck? You have one simple rule. Just
You're
tell me
wasting
what
my
you need to
time.
know. Yeah,
Totally.
in
Yeah.
the word limit.
Yeah. And shorter is better. I mean, personal statements that make it on, I don't think one page, that would be bold. That'd have to be a damn good one page. But
Yeah.
anything that gets on to the second page, I think that's fine. Anywhere
Yep.
between
Double space.
anything on the second page is fine, but not the third page. That is not fine. Okay. Number 15, evidence that you are ready to perform at the graduate level. So you're going to include, Ben, all of this in your personal statement. Ready?
A through Q. Yeah,
A through
ready.
Q. Field-related practical jobs, internships. Your passion. Make sure you spell it out. Hopefully your writing will clearly evidence your passion. Garbage. Do not say
Garbage.
passion. Don't talk
Yep.
about passion. Talk about what you did. Service in the field, research, independent study, working through school, balancing and overload, graduate level classes in the field, direct faculty recognition. I guess this is just a list of, I'm not even going to read these. These are a list of all of your accomplishments. Yes, one of these could be a good topic for your personal statement. You do not need to list everything that's on your resume though, and that's what sounds like they're trying to get you to do here.
Yeah.
Like really? You're going to list athletics, theater, symphony, band, vocal performance to demonstrate your time management skills? Come on. That shit's on your resume. That's not what you're supposed to be doing in your personal statement. Last tip, number 16. We want to end your statement
So they're going to write it for you. Okay.
with a final paragraph that summarizes and provides a quote, big, all caps, big finish.
With the period outside the quote.
The period outside the quote. Yeah. What are you going to do with this degree? Question mark. No. Nope. Ain't nobody got time for that, Ben. The personal statement is only 2 pages, and you don't need a lengthy introduction and a lengthy conclusion. You need a story about you doing something that demonstrates your badassness, and a 1-sentence conclusion is fine. You certainly don't need to rehash everything that you've said before.
Well, also when she says here, what are you going to do with this degree? You let the reviewer conclude that you're going to be an awesome attorney, whatever that means, based on what you've done, not what you say you're going to do. It's just
Completely
this
agree.
advice is just bad.
Maybe it's fine for other graduate programs, but it's 95% garbage for law school.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's an example. This is crazy. An example of a personal statement outline.
It's an example of a personal statement outline.
It says, open with a story, anecdote, or scene that draws the reader in and helps us understand who you are and how your present research interest emerged. Close this paragraph by explicitly stating an observation, insight, or question that drives you. This is not a random story. It's a story explaining something crucial about you and your work. Yeah, that doesn't apply to law school at all.
This must be for other programs. I don't even
No, it's
even then
dude,
I don't know if it's good.
if you're applying for a PhD in geology, then you would talk about your undergraduate work in geology, and you would talk about some research project that you've been involved in as an undergrad, and you would talk about what you think you want to do in grad school, because that's what grad students do. Like grad students in unlike law
They
school,
pursue
grad students in like other disciplines are actually like doing like learning, they're doing stuff.
Yeah.
Law school isn't that. Law school is an academic competition, and you're going to be just competing for grades, writing essays about the law. It's not anything to do with this. I mean, I guess you could do journal your second year, and you could be tangentially related to law school scholarship, where all you're really doing is blue booking shit. But Ben, would you like the definition of Cess?
I do. Yeah.
Before we wrap it up?
Yeah.
2 definitions. 1, cess, noun. In Scotland, Ireland, or India, it is a tax or a levy. Okay. Second definition. mainly Irish. It's a noun in the phrase bad cess to. And the example here is it means a curse on. So someone in Ireland might say, bad cess to the day I joined that band. Or, bad cess to the day I decided to study for the LSAT. Something like that. It means a curse on. So maybe that's where cesspool came from.
Yeah.
It might be like a pool of curses. You know what I mean? Like a bad place where you'll get cursed.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe so. I mean, the definition of a cesspool is an underground container for temporary storage of liquid waste and sewage, which is what I had in mind.
Yeah.
So I thought cess was shit, and then it says a disgusting or corrupt place.
Yes, cesspool for sure. Oh, and corrupt is very close to, curses, right? So,
Yeah.
cess, I think, taxes, curses, that's a cess.
Bad stuff.
Yeah, stuff you would prefer didn't happen. All right. And we're going to have to leave Victor's personal statement for next time.
Yeah.
You want to wrap it up there?
Yeah. Thanks. That was, thanks to everybody for writing it. We always love it.
Yeah. Help at thinkinglsat.com. Help at thinkinglsat.com. And Annalisa will get you on the agenda if it's particularly newsworthy or fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just so you know, we're on Facebook, which we're telling you to avoid by all means.
Oh, dude, last night, I watched this movie, The Social Dilemma. Is that what it's called?
it's on Netflix, right? Like I saw it.
It was weird because it was half documentary, half fiction. It was one of these like documentaries where they simultaneously had a fiction going alongside it to like demonstrate what they were talking about in the doc.
Yeah.
But it was worth a watch, and it really was pretty scary about how these algorithms have fucked us, basically. They make these products to be as addictive as they possibly can. And then just all they care about is our attention and selling our attention.
Yeah.
If they can get our attention, then they can get us to subtly change our behaviors. And that subtle behavior change is the product. They are selling the ability to influence you.
Yeah.
And the algorithms are really, really good and getting better and have all sorts of unintended consequences. And if you could take one thing away from today's show, I would like you to cancel your Facebook account. Just do not go on Facebook. Maybe we should stop pimping our own Facebook group.
We should probably. If you don't cancel your Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, we're at Thinking LSAT and at LSAT Demon.
If you would like to be influenced by us.
Although I don't think we have our algorithms down, right? We're just like posting content. We're like, does it work?
Amateur. No, we're completely amateur. But no, yeah. You want to come follow us, check us out. We are posting all kinds of shit, all kinds of videos and stuff on those channels. So yeah, sure.
But it might be. I mean, although we suck at influencing or nudging people to make the right choices, if you want to pursue the LSAT and law school, maybe more of our content would nudge you in that direction than less. So yeah, could be good. Follow Nathan at nfox on Twitter, or us at Thinking LSAT on Twitter. Leave us a review on iTunes. It's always very helpful. And email us at help@thinkinglsat, as we've mentioned before and Nathan just mentioned. That was episode 264 of the Thinking LSAT podcast. Thanks all y'all for listening. Nice knowing you. Don't pay for law school.